Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irma Dwi Saputri. My student number is A1B219021. I'm from R-001 class. So in this video, I will present the specification tasks that I have made, namely reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Okay, for the first specification about test specification for reading comprehension test. The first specification is objective of the course. At the end of the course, the students are expected to be able to identify their reading comprehension related in their daily life. And then general instructional objective of a reading test is this test is made to measure the level of students' reading ability. And then specific instructional objective, the test is intended to measure students' reading comprehension skill related in their daily life, such as the first, to determine the main idea of the text. The second is to define the purpose from the text, and then to select the word that has the same meaning, and then to determine the word that refers to the text, and the last is to identify the information from the text. And then kind of text is multiple choice, answering the question based on the text. Number of reading text is 4, and then source of text from article. Number of items is 20 items. Time allotment is 45 minutes. Equipment is paper and pen. And for the scoring, 1 for correct answer, 0 for wrong answer. So for the total score, the formula is total score, or the score obtained divided by the maximum score times 100. And this is the blueprint for reading tests. The goal is to improve students' reading skill in English according to the first semester level of English students, related to applying scanning and skimming skill to find various information or determine the main idea of a text. It is intended that students have a more thorough and comprehensive knowledge of the general information that can be found in English reading text to support their studies. And this is the table. There is content. There are 2 content. The first is test objective, measure the students' reading comprehension. And for indicators, presented written text about personal letter. The first is the student can identify the information from the text. Cognitive domain is analysis. There are 3 items. The second is the student can divine the purpose from the text. Cognitive knowledge is cognitive domain is knowledge. First 1 item. And then the third is the student can select the word that has the same meaning. Cognitive domain is application. There is 1 item. And then presented written text about recount text. The first is the student can determine the main idea from the text. Cognitive domain is analysis. There is 1 item. And then the second is the student can identify the information from the text. Cognitive domain is application. There are 2 items. And then the student can select the word that has the same meaning. Cognitive domain is application, 1 item. And then the student can determine the word that refers to the text. Cognitive domain is analysis. There is one item. And then presented written text about report text. The first is the student can determine the main idea of from the text. Cognitive domain is analysis, one item. And then the student can select the word that has the same meaning. Cognitive domain is application. There are two items. And then the student can define the purpose from the text. Cognitive domain is knowledge, one item. And then the student can identify the information from the text. Cognitive domain is application, and then there are 6 items. And these are the questions for reading test in multiple choice form. This is a text about personal letter. This text is used to answer question 1 until 5. For the first question is, what is the possible relation between the sender and the recipient? The second question is, what does the sender tell the recipient? The third question is, from the letter, we know that. And the next question is, what is the purpose of the letter? And the last question about personal letter is, it is running smoothly as you expected. Paragraph 3. The synonym of the underlined word is blah blah blah. This is a text about recount text. This text is used to answer question 6 until 10. The text is about, the title is My First Experience. The question number 6 is, what is the main idea from paragraph 2? And the next question is, something that we can learn from the letter is blah blah blah. The next question is, first, my father led me from behind. The underlined word has the closest meaning to. And the next question is, over time, I want to try it myself. Where does the word it refer to in that sentence? And the next question is, based on the text, the characteristic of the 17 years old boy are blah blah blah. This is a text about report text with the title Forest Fires. This text is used to answer question number 11 until 15. Question number 11 is, what is the main idea from paragraph 2? Question number 12 is, other factors like human carelessness on throwing cigarettes carelessly for forgetting to water the campfire. The underlined word is the closest meaning to. The next question is, the factors that cause forest fire expect. And the next question is, what is the purpose of the text? And then, forests lose their water due to the process of the evapotranspirations caused by. And this is a text about report text 2. And this text is used to answer question 16 until 12. The text with the title is Borobudur Temple. Question number 16 is, according to the text, why is Borobudur Temple included in the 7 World Heritage? And the next question is, at what level is Borobudur Temple square in shape, surrounded by walls, ominously carved with Buddha statues in relief? And the next question is, where's the bell-shaped stupa? And then, which area of Borobudur Temple represents each area of desire, where we are bound by our desires? And the last question is, in line 2, the word ancient has the same meaning as blah blah blah. Okay, so this is the specification for reading comprehension test. And the next specification is about writing skills. So for basic competence, students are expected to be able to understand the structure of the text and the linguistic elements of recount text. An objective of the text is, at the end of the course, students are expected to be able to make a recount text that tells about personal experience in a coherent manner according to the structure of the text. For general instructional objective of writing text is, the test is made to measure and evaluate the level of students' writing ability. A specific instructional objective, the test is intended to measure students' writing ability in terms of to write recount text about personal experience. And kind of text is short and simple text about recount text. And then number of written text, 1. Source of text from article. And the number of items, 1. Time allocation is 45 minutes. And equipment is paper and pen. And then for scoring, the score obtained divided by the maximum score times 100. And then language skills is writing. Okay, this is the blueprint of writing test. The goal is to express students' writing skills in English on recount text material. This is the table of blueprint of writing text. There are content for test objective, measuring the student's writing ability in easy text. And then indicators, giving some explanation about recount text and then ask students to write their recount text. And then cognitive domain, knowledge 1, and then application 1. And the next is rubric scoring for the first writing skills. There are 4 categories for scoring writing skills. The first, content, and then mechanic, grammar, and needless. For the content, there are 5 criteria. The first, the content is very suitable with the title, range of score 5, and then the content is suitable with the title, range of score is 4, and then the content is suitable enough with the title, range of score is 3, and then the content just a little suitable with the title, range of score 2, the content is not suitable with the title, range of score 1. And then the second is mechanic. The mechanic is very good. The range of score is 5. The mechanic is good. The range of score is 4. The mechanic is good enough. The range of score is 3. The mechanic is not good. The range of score is 2. And then the mechanic is bad. The range of score is 1. And the next is about grammar. The grammar is very good. The range of score is 5. The grammar is good. The range of score is 4. The grammar is good enough. The range of score is 3. And then the grammar is not good. The range of score is 2. And the last, the grammar is bad. The range of score is 1. And for neatness, the handwriting is very neat and easy to be read. The range of score is 5. The handwriting is neat and easy to be read. The range of score is 4. And then the handwriting is not neat but be able to read. The range of score is 3. And then the handwriting is not neat and difficult to be read. The range of score is 2. And the last, the handwriting is not neat and very difficult to be read. The range of score is 1. And here, I also make an example of recount text. From this example, it is hoped that students will be able to understand more about the structure, sequence, and then or grammar used when making recount text. This is a test that students have to do. The form is easy. So the test is after studying the recount text, please make students to write recount text coherently and in accordance with the structure of the text. And this is the specification for writing skills. And then for the next specification is about speaking ability test. The first is objective of the course. At the end of the course, students are expected to be able to improve their speaking ability related to describing things, food, and drink at the level of first semester English students. And then general instructional objective of speaking. The test is meant to evaluate and measure the level of students' performance. And then specific instructional objective is students must be able to explain or describing pictures about food and drink. Kind of test is oral test, namely describing pictures about food and drink. Text task is describing, and for time for each section or paper, there is 3 minutes per test taker. One meeting, 2 times 45 minutes equals 19 minutes, divided by 30 students equals 3 minutes per student. And for weight for each other or paper, the total is 20 points. And then text types is image or picture. Language element to be tested is the language elements to be tested are the first is vocabulary use, and the second is fluency, and then accuracy, organization of ideas, and then the last is interaction. And for the target language situation, explaining picture or describing picture about food and drink. For example, in my opinion, blah blah blah, or in the picture, blah blah blah. And then this is scoring procedure or analytic rubrics. The goal is to improve students' speaking ability in English related to daily communication. There are 5 categories. namely vocabulary use, fluency, accuracy, organizations of ideas, and then interaction. And then there are cognitive domain, such as excellent, good, poor, and then network. This is the picture for student describing. Look at this picture for a while and then ask students to describe what they think about the picture. For the first picture is about food, namely pempek, and then the second picture is about drink, namely bantrek. This is the blueprint for speaking ability test. There are the content, test objective, measure the students speaking, and for indicators, students are given pictures and they are able to describe the pictures in detail. And then for cognitive domain is analysis, namely describing. Yeah, this is the specification test for speaking ability test. And the next specification is listening ability test. The first is objective of the course. At the end of the lecture, students are expected to be able to improve their listening skills and understanding related to narrative stories. And the next general instructional objective of listening test. The test is meant to measure and evaluate the level of students' listening comprehension skills. And for specific instructional objective, this test is intended to measure a student's listening comprehension ability in terms of filling in the blank or gap filling related to narrative stories. And a kind of test is gap filling, answering the question based on the audio. And then number of reading audio is 1. Source of audio from YouTube. And the number of item is 10 items. And then time allotment 30 minutes. And then equipment, paper and paper test and pen. And for scoring, 1 correct answer and then 0 for wrong answer. For the total score, the formula is total score or the score obtained divided by the maximum score times 100. This is the blueprint of a listening test. The goal is to improve student listening comprehension in English related to the information contained in the narrative story. The content, the objective, measure the students' listening, and then indicators, presented audio about narrative stories, and students can fill in the gaps based on audio. And cognitive domain is comprehension. There are 10 items. This is the question for listening test. For this listening test, audio has been provided to answer the listening test. Here, the teacher will play audio 2 times, and the student will fill in the word gaps for the empty sentence. There are 10 items for the question of listening test. Okay, I think that's all my presentation about specification test. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.